Hello guys, and welcome back again to the channel. On today's video, I want to discuss what I consider to be the mixing cheat code. And that is obviously mixing mindset, because a lot of people, let's face it, when they are mixing, they don't actually have a mindset of where they want to drive the mix to. All they know is they've put up the mix, they'll start pulling a bunch of plugins, and when they obviously get overwhelmed, the thing is they will go online and start searching how to mix or how to do this, how to do that, when they've actually started on a wrong foot by not actually having a vision of where they want to drive the mix to from the onset. Things that obviously this help you with is, one, if you have a vision of where you want to drive the mix to, you're going to know the kind of plugins that you're going to pick, the kind of reverbs, for instance, the kind of EQ, the kind of compressor. Because put it this way, if you want your mix to obviously sound punchy, you know you're going to go for different kind of compressor, different kind of EQs, compared to when you want the mix to be more mellow. Obviously, the reverb and the EQs, the compressor you will pick will be different, right? That is why you need to have a mixing mindset and also a vision before you even start a mix. You know, for me, for example, once I pull up a mix, I listen to it, I instantly, think of, okay, where do I want to take this mix to? And what direction do I want to go? The analogy I want to put here is, if you are traveling, right, you already obviously know the destination where you are going. Next thing, you start thinking of how to get there, which is either by car, train, bus, plane. That's the same thing with mixing. If you treat it like you treat your everyday life, which is how or where do I want to take this mix to? Once you obviously have a vision where you want to take the mix to, that's already a cheat code there, because then that will help you decide what tools you need that will get you there. Because remember, if you want your mix to obviously sound clean and bright or crisp, the kind of EQs or the tools that you will require for this will be different to when you want the mix to just, sound mellow or a bit dark, right? The same with if you want your mix to sound punchy, the kind of tools you need will be different to when you want it to sound, loose and not punchy, but, like round. So let's get on computer and I'll show you guys what I mean, and obviously the kind of ways that I go about mixing when I sit down to mix. And obviously I'll show you guys my own, mixing concepts. Let's dive into it. So here we are inside the door. And this is a mix that I've pulled up. As you can see, I've obviously got a couple of plugins going. But when I pull a mix like this, the first thing I obviously do is listen to the mix and then see where I want to take this mix to. Sometimes also, if I'm mixing for a client like this one, they might tell me where they want the mix to go, like how they want it to sound and everything. That's already, more of a hint of how to approach this mix. So let's just have a quick listen and I'll show you guys what I've been doing with this mix. Obviously, some of them have not got effects yet. I've got a couple of effects on few, but let's just have a quick listen.
They say it's not too late to change your fate, and you'll never learn without mistakes.
So this is obviously the mix. As you can see, everything is still mellow. The vocal is obviously a little bit louder because I've been adding a few plugins before I start recording. But the first thing once I start a mix is I build from ground up. So if you look on my master, I've already got an EQ and a limiter. Obviously, I'll add more as the mix progresses, things like compressors and stuff. Or if I need another EQ, I'll throw that on. But I've just got one EQ and one limiter, right, on the master to start off with. Sometimes, obviously, halfway into the mix, I might then throw on maybe a tape saturation or anything, something like Black Box HG2. But this is obviously all dependent of where I want to take the mix to. Do I want it brighter? Like this mix, obviously, Ryan is an artist that likes his mix not too bright, but not dark. So it's something like in between. So that's why I obviously start off on this note. Then the next thing that I'll do is start from the low information, because we're building from ground up, right? I've put some stuffs on the mix bus, or you can call it master bus. Then the next thing is, the kick. I'll start working on the kick. So this is how the kick sounded like before anything. Now I've got some EQs, R bass, and some parallel processing. As you can see already, this kick is obviously tighter and a bit punchier. The next thing I'll throw on at this point is the bass, right? So this is the bass. This is how it sounded like without processing. Remember what I talked about from the beginning of this video, which is mixing mindset. So listening to this bass now, you already know that this bass will struggle to cut through smaller speakers, right? Now, you now have a vision of where you want to take the bass to, right? I've obviously thrown on an EQ, a bit of overdrive to help us cut through. This is obviously some distortion, saturation type of sound. Remember, this one is obviously focusing on the mid information, around 180 or low mid, we'll call it. Then I throw on studio rack, which is, sidechaining is what I'm using this for, because I'm doing multi-band split, sidechaining that low end to our kick. So this one is just obviously to create space for the kick. Then the next thing is, again, just to bring the level up a little bit. But after that, Safari Pedals recently put out this plugin, which is Standard Audio Level R. This is obviously a sort of saturation box, which is really good. So I'm now using this to create more upper harmonics. Now see how much this cuts through. Without it, let's have a listen with it on again. As you can see with this tone now, this bass will cut through every other speaker, be it mobile phone speaker. So once I got this, the next thing I'll do is throw on my vocal, right? Sometimes I might even maybe put the clap on, but at this point, I will just bring in my vocal before the clap, because I just want my bass, kick, and vocal to be the main three elements before every other thing then start coming in. Because once you've obviously added maybe low, mid, now you can start adding any other thing, maybe on the high, and start finding pockets for every other thing, right? So let's just listen to this bass on now. The vocal.
They say it's not too late to change your fate, and you'll never learn without mistakes. So usually they say.
So as you can see with this, obviously I've created some space for vocals as well, right? The vocal is cutting through. There is no disturbance in terms of frequency masking or anything. Now, if we start throwing on more elements, now what I do is pay attention to these three elements, which is my bass, my kick, and this lead vocal especially. Now, every other element that come in, if I feel like they are disturbing these three elements, I'll go and, attack them aggressively. So this one, I've obviously done that already, as you can see. But let's just have a listen. There's also a distortion, a compressor, and a bit of chorus to smear it on the side, because it was taken away from the center where the vocals sit.
They say it's not too late to change your fate, and you'll never learn without mistakes.
So on here now, what I feel like is the brightness of my vocal and that clap is equal. Now is a decision you need to make. Do you want your vocal to be brighter? If it is, I'll just go back to the EQ, maybe roll this off ever slightly, right? You don't want to overdo it because look, once you've put it here, that will change the sound of that clap. Have a listen.
They say it's not too late to change your fate. And you...
That is too much. Now, if we open it up a bit.
They say it's not too late to change your fate. And you...
Around here now, some of the sizzle has been taken away, but it's still bright enough as it was originally. That's what you need to obviously listen to as well. Now from here, you start bringing in more stuff like the hi-hat.
They say it's not too late to change your fate. And you'll never learn without mistakes.
So you see, as you can see, every other element coming in now is actually, I'm walking around them based on what we already got. And bearing in mind, I already have a mindset of where I want to take this mix to, right? The same with if we throw on this.
They say it's not too late to change your fate.
There's some frequencies in the middle here now that is actually taken away from our lead vocal. So I'll just get on an EQ quickly and just walk around this area for the time being.
They say it's not too late to change your fate. And you'll never learn without mistakes. So usually they say it's not too late to change your fate.
Did you hear now that I boosted that area? You see how it's the same tone that our vocal actually have is where this is now masking it. But if we cut it ever slightly so that our vocal can come through more around there.
They say it's not too late to change your fate.
Remember, it's not taking away from this guitar. You can also boost it other areas. Or you can even do a high shelf.
They say it's not too late to change your fate. And you'll never learn without mistakes. So usually they say it's not too late to change your fate.
So this is it, guys. As you can see, as long as you have a mixing mindset and you have a vision of where you are taking the mix to, you see how easy it is. I actually deliberately, start using more of the built-in plugins inside Logic. So you can see that once you have a mixing mindset and you also have a vision of where you're taking the mix to, the tool doesn't really matter much because most DAWs already have a great tool that will get you there. Obviously, there might be some occasions where you need something fancy, but if you don't have that vision already of where you want to go, how are you gonna know that will be the tool that will get you the result, right? Otherwise you just be doing trial and error, or should I say guesswork. So that is it, guys. I hope this is obviously helpful. If you like the video, smash that, subscribe and also the thumbs up. Also leave a comment so that YouTube algo can actually send this to more people. Please, I want you guys to obviously, share this video as well so that, whoever you think will benefit from it can see it. Another thing is I've got a membership where you can actually sit with me one-on-one if you want mix consultation, or if you want to watch my full mix breakdowns. Go and join my membership. Another thing is, if you want me to mix your record, obviously DM me or book me directly on engineers.com/Zany Pro. Then the final but not the least, if you go to my Payhips, which is payhip.com/Zany Pro, you can actually watch my full mix breakdowns that you can buy them outright, or book me for consultation or lessons, and also get my mixing templates. I'll be adding my my vocal chain, sorry. I'll be adding mixing templates soon, which can be, maybe all Logic Pro plugins or Waves plugins, and some other brands that I have a lot of their plugins, you know. But if you have any specific need that you want me to cover in terms of mixing, mastering, you know, plugin reviews, hardwares and stuff, just leave me a comment down below. I'll try to cover that. I hope this video you find it helpful. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye now.